How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. This is apparently going to be part 3. It's just a short little clip that we're going to be going over, something that I missed in the original 2 parts that I did, while I was skipping around. So, apparently in this part, she is going to be, our little doggy here is going to, Joel's going to drop the leash and she's going to go after Prince, and she kind of corners Prince and as he says earlier, kind of pinned him against the fence. So, we're going to take a look at that. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think is happening. So she's in here in the water, which is good. She kind of came over, looked at Prince. Prince, moves away. Prince is showing, at least at this point, to me, it looks like some stress signs. That he says he realizes she doesn't want to play. She's over here cooling off. It would be nice if she could actually drink some of the water. So she's over here. She's cooling off. He's just running around. He's kind of keeping an eye on her, and she's absolutely keeping an eye on him. She doesn't want him coming around behind her. She's very stressed. She sees him and she wants to go for him. She slips on the grass. This could be very dangerous, especially on a head halter, because she can run and seriously injure herself. He's running away. Maybe he's trying to play a game, or maybe he's not. That's why all this is so dangerous, to have them in such a small, fenced-in area. So he runs away. She kind of wanted to go after him like, hey, dude, leave me alone. Because remember, when she first met him, when she was sniffing him, Joel gave her, 2 or 3 harsh corrections on the leash. Some people may think it's not very harsh. I think it was absolutely unnecessary. And that was her first introduction to Prince. So that could be what set the whole, precedence for what she thinks of Prince. It doesn't mean that this is necessarily good, or that we want this to happen, but we have to understand why she might be doing this. Again, she's stressed. She says, my face hurts, trying to get the muzzle off. He's showing stress. He comes up, looks away and moves away from her.
Dude.
So this is not helping her learn to, quote unquote, like dogs. She is very, very stressed.
Prince, come here. Prince.
She just wants to get away. And this whole time he's talking about, this is good panting. This is, a good way to tire your dog out. This is not how you tire your dog out. This is an example of a wet saddle blanket, where you take a horse, you put him in a round pen, and you chase him for 30 minutes. They're running nonstop for 30 minutes in a circle. Or you're chasing them around and they get sweaty. Versus if you take them for a 2-mile, just slow trail ride, you're working with them, working their brain, or you're desensitizing them to something over the period of a couple hours. You're just messing with your horse. That's where you would get a wet saddle blanket. Either stressing or from working. We can see from here, her pupils are dilated. We see the whites of her eyes. She's very stressed. Trying to get away from him. He has to call his dog over, putting his dog again in harm's way. We also have shadows, we have light, we have shadows, we have corners. So just like with horses, dogs are predators, and they could have different, their eyes may consist of a different number of cones and rods, and how light reflects in them. But just like, like anybody, if you're going from light to shade, or the sun is facing you, that can affect how you obviously see the world. I don't know if dogs would become, how their vision looks, but if it would be affected by going from light to shade to light again. But especially if the light is in your eyes, I would be that much more nervous, because I want to see what I perceive to be a threat. So he calls Prince over. He's setting Prince up for failure. He's setting her up for failure. She runs over. Then he throws the leash at the worst time. She runs into the fence, because she's used to running and being held back by the leash, which probably only built up this frustration in her. So now that she's loose, he's letting her run into a fence, injure herself, risk injuring Prince. Totally pointless. But you know what? Once he moves out of the way, she comes back over here, because I think Mom is over here. So she really doesn't want to fight. She's not trying to tell Prince, hey, I'm big and bad, I'm in charge of you. She doesn't care who's in charge. She just wants him, what I see to be the perceived threat, She wants him to just stay away from her. Give her her space. So she goes back in the water. She's not actively searching Prince out. Here she will see him and she's going to chase him. But she's not actively following him around. He's over here. Of course, he's by Dad. Whether Beckman, called him over with his hand or not, or Prince is just saying, hey, of course I'm comfortable by my human. She comes over. I feel like they may make eye contact and then she goes for it. But it's because, okay, so Prince was moving behind him. And then she saw that movement and she just decided to go. And I feel like he was the one who created all of this. So she goes after Prince. He gets cornered. She goes to correct him as if, she goes for it. It didn't look like she was really trying to be super aggressive. She goes over, gets him by the face, as if she were to correct him, and she moves away on her own. Neither of these dogs should ever be put in this position. Like this, this poor guy is just, again, a product of his environment, what he was raised as. In that instance, that did not, in my opinion, her going after him did not warrant, him standing here moving this way didn't warrant the need of a correction. But since she's been here, all he's done is made their interactions a negative. And poor Prince has to pay for it. And she has to too. He's making this dog more reactive, more aggressive. Poor Prince gets cornered, which is why corners are bad, no matter what what you have, whether you have a dog or a horse. But she corrects him. She doesn't keep at it. If she really wanted to be the dominant type that everybody wants to label her as, she would have stayed there. She would have made sure that she would have kept on going. Or if she really were aggressive, she would have kept on going. I mean, there's if you look at Senza Tempo Cane Corso, any of her videos, she's raised so many bully of a dog. She's made all of her dogs bullies and claim that they're all dominant, this and that. I mean, some of them may be like have that temperament, but she also allows them to get away with things and bully each other and stand over each other and bite at each other's face for sometimes minutes on end. This dog said, "Leave me alone." Backed off, which in this last correction here, I thought was unnecessary. I mean, the whole thing is unnecessary, but between dog on dog, that was not called for. I mean, can I see where she's coming from? Yeah, she's stressed. None of this is okay. Or smart to set up for the dogs. She chased him, and she told him, she got him in the face, bumped him with her muzzle, and then she said, "Dude, leave me alone. I don't want to play. Don't move quick around me." Whatever she's trying to get across, she got her point. And she immediately walks away. And poor little Prince, he's like, all right, got it. I'm leaving. I'm going to stay away from you. I can't say it's the worst thing in the world for Prince, from the general behavior that he shows to a lot of other dogs. But again, it's not necessary. It didn't need to happen. If they were just in their own little world and he kept bugging her and she told him to back off and finally he gets it handed to him, okay. I mean, that's nature. I mean, I kind of worry about saying nature because this kind of instance doesn't happen in nature. Like village dogs live differently than they're not raised and in a way affected the same way dogs are designer dogs or purebreds or inbreeding or, these dogs, those village dogs are not affected by human imprinting. So they behave in their own natural way. For dogs that are domesticated and have lived generations in humans' homes and whatnot, this is their natural way. But in the end, it's not even natural because it's controlled by humans. You can't step in the same river twice, right? You can't observe anything in nature without changing it. Unless you're watching from binoculars from 3 miles away and you're watching a herd of horses or dogs or lions and they don't even know that you exist, then okay, you're not changing the environment. But even having a human stand completely still in this environment, we've changed it. You know, there's really nothing natural about this whole situation, I think.
So like a dominant.
Okay, so as soon as he gets the leash, he comes back, which again, I don't think this interaction is okay, but we see why is she doing this? Because humans got involved and messed everything up. As soon as he got the leash, she's going to feel more trapped. Before, she'd always run to the end of her leash. The second time, she runs to the end of her leash and he lets go. She's able to go make contact with Prince. So she learns a new lesson. This time, she runs up to him. Now she's back on the leash. I mean, it's just... I mean, Prince is being Prince. You know, in this instance, you know, I don't see any problem with him walking around this area. You know, he's really not he's not being disrespectful to her, I see in this moment. And she's not necessarily being disrespectful of him. She's afraid of him. She doesn't trust him. And this guy is the one, I feel like, who made it all 10 times worse.
Was way less than before, but that was like to the neck.
I saw it to the face, like she was correcting him. Even if it was to the neck, she's not under the throat. It was one, bam, leave me alone, and then she walked away immediately. So I don't see it as dominance. I just see it as a dog that is very frustrated at the end of her wit, and she just says, you know what, I gotta be big and bad to get my point across. I told you several times before, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. You kept bugging me. Now I'm going to make it serious. That's what I see. So this was just a quick one. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, let me know what you think of this, what you saw. But thanks for watching. Say howdy do to your little critters again for me, since we got these 2 videos up in one day. Give them some kind of love and they enjoy. And in the meantime, practice some peace, patience, and positivity.